Good morning and Boker Tov, everyone. This week's Torah portion has a section that's a continuation of last week's Torah portion. Yesterday's Torah portion had the most famous, holiest prayer in Judaism, the one that every Jew knows, and that is the Shema. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. And the first paragraph of the Shema, how you should love the Lord your God, you should study Torah, you should teach it to your children, you should bind the tefillin on your arms and head, and then place the mezuzah on your doorpost. This week's Torah portion, Akev, has the continuation, which is the second paragraph of the Shema. Now, many of the commandments in the first paragraph are repeated in the second paragraph. So why the repetition of the second paragraph, which is almost identical to the first? And the answer is one fundamental difference, and that is, the entire first paragraph is in the singular. You shall love the Lord your God. You shall study Torah. You shall teach it to your children. You shall bind it on your hand and your head. You shall place the mezuzah on your doorpost. But when you read the second paragraph of the Shema in this week's Torah portion, as we do daily in the recitation of the Shema, we read the second paragraph after the first. Everything's in the plural. You, the Jewish nation, shall love God. You, the Jewish nation, shall study Torah and teach it to your children. And what the Torah is teaching us by the repetition of the second paragraph of the Shema is that, yes, first and foremost, our commandments are to be personalized for ourselves. But then beyond that, we have to impact those around us. First, we have to practice, and then we must influence and inspire others around us. I'm now at the National Jewish Retreat, and the whole idea of the retreat is to be inspired, to learn more, to grow in our Judaism. But beyond ourselves, when we go back to our communities, to inspire others and expose others to the beauty, the depth, the meaning, the relevance of Judaism in all of our lives, that we could all experience a Shabbat like we experienced yesterday here at the Jewish National Retreat every single week of our lives. And the same thing is true with all of the commandments. Now, the word Shema is usually translated as hear, O Israel. But there's a deeper meaning to the word Shema. It doesn't just mean to hear with your eardrum. It means to understand. And not just to understand it in your mind, but to internalize it. Hear, O Israel, internalize this message that the Lord is your God, the Lord is one. Viktor Frankel, who is the renowned psychiatrist who invented logotherapy, who survived the Holocaust, who wrote the best-selling book, Man's Search for Meaning, tells a fascinating story in his book, Man's Search for Meaning. He said when he was sent to Auschwitz, he had a manuscript of the book he was going to write about his ideas, his philosophy about psychiatry and mental health. And he said he knew that the Nazis would take it away, so he hid it in his coat pocket. When he came to Auschwitz, he discovered, of course, his idea that the most basic need for a human being is purpose. And therefore, those who survived the Holocaust were not those who were the strongest necessarily, or the healthiest, but those who had the greatest reason and purpose to live. And his purpose to live was to survive the Holocaust, and published his manuscript. And so he hid it in the coat of his pocket of his coat. And then when he came to Auschwitz, the Nazis told him to undress. And right before his eyes, his clothing was thrown into a furnace, burnt before his eyes. And he said, my mental child that I labored on and that was my purpose to survive was now destroyed. And he said, I felt a loss of purpose and meaning. But then they gave him the Nazi uniform, the camps, barracks uniform that all the prisoners, inmates had to wear. And the uniform they gave him was from a Jew who was already tragically sent to the gas chambers. And when he put it on, he put his hand into the pocket. And there in the pocket, he pulled out a piece of paper that the Jew who had had this jacket before him had hidden in his jacket pocket. And what was it? It was a page from the prayer book with the prayer of Shema on it. And there was his answer provided to him, that the purpose for his survival was not so he could teach others and inspires others about meaning and purpose and faith. But Shema Yisroel, Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, was on that piece of paper that he found in his pocket, that the purpose of his existence was first and foremost that he should live his own faith. And he said that page in the prayer book is what gave him the purpose to survive the camps and ultimately write a book about his experiences in the camp. Stephen Covey, in his famous book, 7 Secrets for Highly Successful People, says, understand before you seek to be understood. Sometimes we think that our purpose in life is to speak, to guide, to inspire others, but the Shema says here, the greatest challenge in life is to internalize, to empathize with others, to hear the words of others, and to hear the words of God as God speaks to us daily through all of creation, to hear the voices that surround us constantly, the heavenly messages that are being sent to us, and to realize that man is capable of being as evil as the Nazis or as great as the Jews who survive the Nazi murderous, evil persecution and oppression of the Jews. Because after all, yes, it was man that created the gas chambers, but it was also the same man who went into the gas chambers saying the words Shema Yisroel Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, with their faith in God, their faith in humanity, their faith in the destiny of the Jewish people intact despite the evil all around us. That is the power of a human being, to internalize the message and the love of God, and that is the enduring, everlasting message of the Shema. Have a wonderful day.